Well, things getting mad in a well in case you don't know. This got to be Batman Zimbabwean dance so done, dada. Yeah, I know a lot of people will be saying good Batman this, Batman that, but well, welcome to Batman Uncut. Yes, this is the episode that I need to share with you. Backdating kwazvakatangira tichienda from, and then nekwazviri kunosvika. And don't forget to hit the like button if you're new here, and don't forget to also hit the share and the subscribe button. But same time ipapo aso tichiri kumbofukunyura pasi tisataenda kwazviri kufanira kunosvika ikoko. But anyway, big up to all the massive who know me, and same time big up if you're new here, salute, and if you're supporting the movement, big up on yourself, and that's how the vibes goes. But anyway, this is all about life in the dancehall scene that I personally experienced from day one, kwatakava, from the 90s, catching up to the 2000, I don't know, 2K. But anyway, the main issue iripo naso, the header iripo, is my personal opinion to some of the things that were not told, especially by my MCs, and naga clash now on my MCs. I would feel good today my opportunities angari popa ground. We'll be talking a different language right now because those guys, they paved way for whatever is happening currently. We know we experience because kwane movement digitalization, kwane movement one or wita basically my live shows actually digitalized. I saw my platforms with people are experiencing some even in their home comforts. But during that era, that there was literally nothing. Papa Stomboli in all that movement. But anyway, it doesn't stop people to know what happened, what transpired, who did this and who did that. Anyway, I'll be listing my best top artists and MCs, should I say artists, MCs, DJ, singer, J's, who were there during the era, inspired a lot and inspired even me, Pete Mujeni Madatiri Imomo. So my call short is, kuti, if not told, if not heard, people might not understand it. As much as you know, with dancehall is noise Zimbabwe, it evolved in a pioneer before even me and the other guys who are now still existing in the ground. People who vakachera papa singachereki to make things happen. When I'm saying vakachera papa singachereki, it's like things, they started the movement because it was difficult during the time and people, they made it work. Kuti vanhu vakwanise ku understand music, the Caribbean music. Then from there, ikava a culture that is developed. Yeah, anema zitango siyana, though tichiti Zimdancehall. Just to differentiate, because yaku involve part of Zimbabweans exhibiting and out part of Zimbabwean vachiimba music yacho is like Jamaicans kwazvakavangana to culture zvakatangira. But anyway, these guys, if I have to list, before even I was into action and before my other guys were into action, I'll list by just saying my names only. Were the guys who pioneered and engineered and made it look simple and possible, if I put it that way. And the guys who made it look simple, who made it look possible, I would say hats off Kwawari, because they made it kutizwe reality, because would you witness a Orim crowd, you'd make it like, wow, I need to be like one of them. So I would say heads off to the likes of Major E, Booker T, Yapi Bantan, Potato, Wanataura Avari Fo. If I can put across, they played a big role internationally and nationally. When I'm saying internationally, they combined Venek, Gishona, and combined same time English words into their metaphors, into their singing, zvaigona kuva a capture, but both yard and foreign, if you understand what I'm trying to say. So with that now, you'd find when you pin club and then you'll be like, oh, you would make it a must that you don't miss Major E when he walks in, you don't miss Potato when he is there walking in, you don't miss Booker T, or you don't miss Yapi Bantan when they are doing the freestyle, because they carried whatever magic that they carried that would make the dance live. It's unfortunate because of digitalization. Some of these young guys, they might not even understand. Yes, these guys were lethal. When I'm saying lethal, they were deadly. They were deadly per Mikey, and you would not even wonder or think that these guys Wangawari Zimbabwean in a way. Even Yangoba Mbwane Shona Chepchep, they had that action voice, remachuni, remangoma, raita noise, raisheka dance. You'd find Potato here, the horse voice, uchumunzo waitoka mega bantan, kana waitoga kuti, Banana Terra Fabulous, the way they executed the vibes. Major E, it's like the cut rank style, uchumunzo, like, yo, yeah, I am a one. But to that, it then stood up and then inspired the other entourage, Yangeruko Mashure, speaking of the guys, Pakazengeba Kutangama MC battles, my clash involving the other guys that I'm going to mention as well. So I would say, these guys, they really made a difference. They really made a difference. Kuna na culture T, Akaimba Satano wa Jaira, if you still remember the song, he was also a big influence into the dancehall, and people might not know, So to that, just mentioning a few, so I would repeat again, I would like say the four foundation the inspired the generation when we were inspired in Jipinam Club, the likes of Major Inda Taura, Booker T, Potato, Yapi Bantan, and Wanana Culture T, just to mention a few, but the list Yangairupa area Papa Yangaga Wanda, Yangaga Kura, in fact. But Awandu they are the ones who maintain a consistency. So I would say heads off to everybody who played a role, passing the baton to the generation which we then started to appear shortly, Chingo appear and up, which was something that then started changing faces into the dancehall, because why? The culture was growing. In fact, actually, the culture was growing. The culture was not sinking, you see. So then, Patai Yoyo, just listing, then now I'm going to be highlighting, explaining each by each and how I would rate some of the other artists in the Quadruva. So from then, everything connected. During the time Yakatanga MC contest, Tatakawanda, trust me, some I've forgotten names. Kanakuniwa were actually watching this vlog which talked about the dancehall scene, the dancehall MCs, pioneers, and up to the current date. Is guys, forgive me because those are I'm tied up on my shoulders for my MC contest. Some I've forgotten names, but remember when there's opinion now my one-on-one Papa final round. So of influence, I'll just say names, but on my next episode, that's when I'm gonna be talking one individual after the other, so that people, you learn to understand, these people, they really evolved and this is how it really happened. So just to list up, after the first pioneers, then came the area clash. The area clash, they were the likes of Mega Spice, there was Mega Spice, there was AGL, there was Frisco Kid, there was Mikey T, there was Scatter, there was Trigger, there was Jabless, there was Labash, there was Sniper, there was Culture Kid, there was Broogeyman, Matcom, Winky, Gaspioria, Daza, Yombreman, just to mention a few. And then from there, it's just not a break even. Then came Pakazangepane generation, Yagazouya, just to mention a few. Do Pakazangepane, Clan and Nagazangdakfamanayo, just to mention Wanana Colors, Wanana Celsius, Wanajigas, the late, Jalav, and. So just the whole package is just to show the evolution. Yevanga consistence. Some we wind out during that era because of my greener pastures and but I'm just highlighting to the whole trio to Mungo Ziva, just to mention a few. But the whole point I'm talking of male artist side. Vaengo ari mu clash business nivakazoya commercially into the music scene pakuyimba. So that is basically how I can highlight, but I can lengthen, but ndoda kuti mungoziya just a phrase of how the whole thing was like. But just to cut it short, I can say my artist angakawandisa guys, whom I might not even have mentioned. My name is not good ndakanga about the list yakakurisa, but I'm just picking names I know, and people like, but wazosiya ningiri. No, everybody mattered and still matters up to the current date. You get, but part time yacho ndokutaura just give a light when other people talk of some of the names and it will make sense, or it would click into people's minds to really make sense. Okay, that's how it is. So I would say heads off to everybody watching the segment, and big up on yourself to all the pioneers, Major E, Bokati, Yapi Potato, Jabless, just to mention a few. Then Sandazo in an episode, Yakasenge Anima Clash segment, then the radio segment, and Shidaro, and how the culture actually evolved to the current position in Iripo. But the best of ways is like some of those artists are still existing and are still even inspiring the next generation. So I would say hats off to everybody, and same time, love no bad, and that's how it is. So I'll see you on my next segment, but the next segment I'm gonna be now explaining in detail, about okay, who was Maker Spice, how was he, and I just say who was AGL, who was Frisco Kid, how was the clash like with those guys, so that people you understand. And then the lecture on the segment Emma dance on a stage artist, because all those people they were an influence, but then they had strengths and then they had weaknesses in certain angles. But if I can put it across, is like that's just the list just to mention. And then I'll see you when I'm explaining in detail, and then boom, you catch up with me. So bada, respect to everybody, love no bad, and same Batman say so. Don't forget to hit the button, subscribe, like, and share. On the next episode, catch me the story in detail. You'll be kept locked on. So love no bad.